like their videos, it automatically populates into your feed. So they'll see it. Then they can like you, and then you can engage in conversation that way.
And if you can stay on with me, Sheila, when we get done, when Jackie's done, we'll keep picking up some more. Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, Jackie. Hey guys, it's our.
I need you to co-host Monique Smith, please.
Oh, perfect. Welcome, Monique. Anybody else?
Nope.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Hello, Monique. All right, I'll get this kicked off and started and pass it over to you, Jackie. But you guys know it's our hour of training in our awesome DTC ambassador program with feature on our Wine of the Month Club. And Jackie is our MSI that hosts all these, and I appreciate everything she does. And you guys, this has been a very key focal anchor for us. It's helped us establish the marketing prowess that is us. And I love what we do on these Saturdays now. And Jackie, I'm going to hand it over to you, but massive gratitude. You guys, I'm actually coming to everybody. I think we pretty much announced it, but it's 6 a.m. where I'm at. And we've been on here doing the brain food, which is it's also under the umbrella of direct to consumer. And we'll go back to that after this fun time with Jackie. But just so you guys realize, doing our business around the world is real. We can do it from anywhere, right? The view might change is all, but the access, the way we do things, it's all there. Now I'm excited for what you have on here, Jackie. So I'm going to pass it over to you and tell us what's in store.
Well, thank you so much, Rory, and welcome everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning from wherever you are. Rory's in the island, so it's real early where he is. But anyway, this is our Saturday morning brunch, and it's our wine tasting brunch, and we do this every Saturday. I just absolutely love it. Today is I believe June 3rd, and so we have a lot in store for you today. We have a good treat, but for those of you who have not ever been here before, to Rory's point, we do like to feature our wines so that you can learn a little bit about them. And then we have some great, delicious recipes that we pair to educate you even further on how our wines pair with different foods. Today, I have my sweetheart. She's so sweet. We've had to reschedule her a couple of times, and I really do appreciate her patience. But we have Monique Smith. Her MSI is Chrissy Balboa. And so she is going to take us through today what she has cooked. And she's actually got a treat for us. We're going to pair two different wines, and we're going to talk about those wines as she begins to share her dish. So without further ado, Monique, what do you have for us today, baby?
So I have these egg muffins that are really versatile. You can kind of make them however you want. If you have friends or family that has allergies or different tastes, you can kind of individualize each muffin to fit everybody. So it's a really good recipe to make in bulk, but make kind of personalized, you know what I mean? And I kind of found this recipe and kind of tweaked it a little bit to make it my own. Let me see if I can show you a picture. I've already cut a few of them out. That's what they look like once they're done. And I have some, instead of muffin liners, I used deli ham. And then you make like scrambled eggs, but you pour it in the cups, and then you can put toppings on it. I chose to saute some peppers, onions, and mushrooms, and then they each have cheese on them. I can't have cow's dairy, so some of them have cheddar cheese and some of them have manchego cheese. That way it fits everybody, and it's really, really good. I actually tested this recipe out on Easter with my father-in-law, and he's not one to try new things, and he went back for seconds and thirds. So I'd say that's a success. And I was talking to Jackie this week. I wasn't sure which wine to pair, so her and I kind of decided to try both and see what happens. I'm trying it with the Sauvignon Blanc today.
And guys, just so you know, you would think that with breakfast, you would start with a light wine, a white wine, and that particular wine that she has is fruit forward, right? Of pear and things like that. But then when she brought up her other wine, I thought, that's also a really good wine, a light wine to start people out with. And the beauty of when you pair, try different things, because you're going to get a different flavor. Your palate is going to taste something different. So just because you think, white wine goes with chicken, that's not necessarily so. So if you play around with it, you might just have an explosion in your mouth and really like it. So that's why Monique and I are playing around today. And I'm very, very interested to see what her pairing comes out to be with both. She did write a beautiful page. She put a lot of detail and a lot of thought into it and gave you a lot of golden nuggets in there. I will be sharing her page after her tasting, but be sure and grab that and check it out. So go ahead, Monique. Let's see how these pair.
All right. Oh, and the other one's the Moscato. I forgot to show you guys that one. And this one's actually,
it's a light wine, but I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to talk about each one of them as we go through. We've featured this wine quite a lot because it is a good starter wine of a morning, and then go into the heavier wines in terms of tasting. But this particular wine, it's not a sparkling wine, but it has kind of a fizz to it, and it is very fruit forward. And it's a delicious wine. So I'm given the different toppings that she has chose for her egg McMuffins, which sound absolutely delicious, I bet she is going to have a wonderful pairing. So go ahead, darling.
I'm excited. All right, we're going to try it first with the Sauvignon Blanc, just because it's been breathing longer, probably more ready.
Which egg McMuffin did you try it with, honey? Because I know you have several.
The one with the onions, peppers, and mushrooms, and the manchego cheese. So this one actually, it kind of tones down the fruit and brings out a lot more of the cheese flavor, which is, and the ham too, which, I mean, I don't even know how to begin to explain that, but that's good. I think I like that one better than Moscato, but let's find out.
And you said something about manchego cheese. Does manchego cheese not have dairy in it? I know you just took a bite.
It's just made from sheep's milk. For some reason, my body does not like cow dairy. Yeah, but I can have like sheep's milk or goat's milk, those kind of cheeses, and it does not bother my stomach. So thank God, because I was devastated when my doctor told me I could not have cheese anymore.
Well, I love manchego, but I did not know that. So that's I just learned something.
Yeah, I didn't know either until someone told me to try it. And I was like, what are you? I can't have cheese. Oh, it's sheep's milk. Try it. Okay. All right, let's see how it tastes with the Moscato. Oh my, it almost makes it a little bit fruitier, the wine itself. And I can't really taste much of the cheese. And it brings out a little bit more of the mushrooms too, which kind of surprises me. I thought it would bring out more of like the peppers or onions, but brings out more of the mushrooms, and it's good. It's so good.
Well, that sounds awesome. And so you see, she used the same muffin, obviously, but she got two totally different flavors and experiences by tasting those. And that's what this wine club is all about. If you've been on here before, you've heard us talk a lot about why we consider ourselves a discoveries and education club, because we lost so much during the Prohibition. And one of Rory and Tanya and Peter's goals was to bring that back to the community in the U.S. as well as abroad. And that's why we have these educational classes, so that you do know wine is considered a food. It is in many of the old countries, they start them out very young And it has a lot of health benefits as well. I drink a glass of red wine every night for my eyes. I think we've talked about that before. But the beauty of our wines, guys, is we don't sell wines. We give you access through our memberships to a boutique winery out of Napa and Sonoma Valley, which is one of the well-renowned regions for varietals because of the climate and the soil, and they are one of the best wines in the world, notably. And so whenever that you join us, you have access to that. And also you can become just a customer. I have a lot of customers, many of us do, just to enjoy the wine, because it is phenomenal. And once you drink our wine, you will not drink or choose to drink the store-bought mass produced wines where you have a lot of preservatives and additives. We call that a wine punch, but it does cause headaches or what we call pretty bad hangovers, especially the red ones, the next morning. It's called a wine hangover, and it's not fun. But the reason for that is because those wines are mass produced. They are, most of those companies are owned by the conglomerates, and they are very focused on the bottom dollar, the net revenue dollar. So they want to get those wines in, get those wines out, get them on the shelf and have a long shelf life. Not to mention, if you buy one of those wines this year and you buy that very same wine next year, it is going to taste the very same. And the reason for that is because they use a recipe. With our wines are fermented naturally. We do not rush the process. They stay in the barrels a minimum of 3 years, I believe, but more than not, if they're not ready in 3 years, guess what? They sit in those barrels until they are ready. And so when you get one of our wines, for instance, if you got the Moscato varietal today, when the next vintage comes out, that wine is going to taste totally different, as it should, because it, depending on what the soil was for that time period, depending on the, the rain, depending on the climate, all of those sorts of things go into how that wine is going to taste. Our wines last a long time because of the way that they are fermented. So if you want to become a customer, get back with the person that that brought you here, and they can get you all the information. But more importantly, if you want to learn the business side of this, like many of us have, we also have that opportunity. And we do have a Monday night opportunity call where we go much more into detail of how to get involved with that. So please reach out to the person and get that information. It is actually on this same channel. But I can't talk enough about the wines. I absolutely love them. I get 2 shipments a month. I don't just get one because I love them. I was always thought that I was a cab snob way back in the day, until I was introduced 5 years ago to these wines. And now my palate has grown, and I look forward to getting the different varietals to see how they're going to taste and pair with different foods. And so can you. Monique, you did a wonderful job, sweetheart. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
And we will have you again. I am going to post your pages out there for everybody. So guys, you be sure and get her page. She does have a lot of information for you. And I am kind of rushing today because I do know that Roy has some things that he wants to go over that are not necessarily pertaining to the wine, but we do have some new things coming out. And so I want to be mindful and give him as much time as we possibly can. But before I turn it over to him, Niall, if you're on here, or Linda or Stacy, do y'all have anything to add about the 2 different wines that we have paired today? And they may have stepped away. There's Stacy.
Excellent choices. Yeah, I would not have thought of, just of choosing either one of them personally. I would have, just, I don't know.
They were 2 different choices. I would not have, I would have went with, my first thought was a Chardonnay. Okay. That's where I went first.
Yeah.
And then when I asked, I was like, no, I think that'll work. Go ahead and do that. Let's play with it. So I'm glad she was bold enough to step out there and do it. And because that's what it's all about. You know, you don't know unless you try. It could have tasted horrible, but in this case, it absolutely didn't. And she got 2 very good pairings out of it. So,
Yeah.
Linda?
I'll tell you, Jackie, well, first of all, I love Monique, so I love when she gets out and cooks. I probably would have went with a Chardonnay too, or a bubbly in an orange juice, right? But I think that's the beauty of this. I've learned so much over the last couple of years that I'm constantly trying to experiment. And I learned a little bit more about dairy products today too. That was interesting. So many.
Because I'm like, I wonder why that's why when you cut Machago cheese up, it might start out hard, but it softens very quickly.
Yeah,
and
I don't like
I'm
milk.
gonna do some research on that because I absolutely love that cheese. So
I don't like milk.
Niall.
I don't like cow's milk either. I don't eat cereal because of that. And if I put cream in my scrambled eggs because I don't like milk. So now I'm going to go experiment even more. Monique, thank you as always.
Absolutely. Linda, do you have anything, sweetheart?
No, I'm going to replicate what Niall said. Same deal. I don't use milk. I use almond milk. So, but I eat cheese without any problem. I would just have a cow too, Monique. Literally a cow. But anyway, I would, yeah. I can drink it, but I don't like to drink it. So, but I put it, when I mix anything, I always use almond milk. So that's perfect. And Niall's right. This is a discovery club. So that's what we do, discover. Perfect.
Yeah, that's my favorite part, honestly, is trying different wines with different foods that aren't like traditionally paired with certain foods. And part of the reason I wanted to try the Moscato with this, because my first thought was a mimosa, but the Moscato to me is kind of like a mimosa minus the bubbles and juice. Like it's all right there, no mixing, no nothing. So that was kind of why I wanted to try the Moscato, but then I started overthinking it. I was like, well, let's grab a backup in case.
That's
so
perfect.
it was fun. I love doing this. So thank you guys.
You
for
had a
having me.
pleasant surprise. And with all the different varieties of the Egg McMuffins that you have, even though they don't necessarily go with your stomach, I bet they would pair very well. And guys, that's why we invite you to go to her page, because she didn't do just one muffin. I mean, she did several different things. They all sound absolutely delicious. And try it and see, try it with a mimosa, who knows? But so typically what we do for the next 30 minutes is we will go into some wine back office training in that, but we're going to pass that today. And we're going to turn this back over to Rory. But one thing I do want to say before we close is if you are not part of the Vortex system, you need to really pay attention to that, especially if you are an instructor or an instructor in training. That is a huge CRM set. I mean, it is a separate system that Rory is actually dripping on your prospects. It is huge. The cost is very minimal. If you have more than 200 people in your CRM, you do need to upgrade to the $59 option so that you don't lose out on missing all of your people. If you are below that and you are in the wine club already as an estate, a reserve, or a Grand Cru, you can use the $14.95 option. However, just know that when you hit that 200 mark, you could start getting stop gaps in the campaigns because that system is limited. Very, very important. I was going to take a minute to go ahead and show you how to add people to the Vortex, but I'm not going to do that today. We'll pick that up next week.
We'll do that next week. And you guys, we are sending out a ton of text messages. Things have been migrated over. You're going to be seeing it go, 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 go. So just feed that machine. And, you guys, I stress this, the world's changed due to bad actors and all sorts of frauds, scams, misinformation, all sorts of things that have happened. The carriers got sick of all the abuse, right? So they've instigated their own governing faction, which basically is, if you comply with this, we'll let your messages go through. If you don't, they won't. And it's pay to play. And we're paying upwards of, depending on the situation, as much as 4 cents a message that goes out there. So we put it all in a big sequence in there. And so we want people to get started. So we made it minimally the $14.95. Now that's doesn't give you enough BV to qualify for the commissions. So that's a great for people, everybody to have that. And if you're getting the wine, add that on top of it to help market. But once you've got 200 users in there, like Jackie was saying, and we're putting them through the sequences, after 200, you want to go to the which it used to be another plan. Now it's unlimited. It's the $59.95, and basically load it up to death. And when you guys max that out, Tanya and I are going to pay the difference. We'll meet you guys on that. So we actually have some members here that have thousands in the process, and it was so much we had to throttle the release. I'm going to tell you guys, over the next 60 days, all the previous, you guys can imagine how many there are, all the previous stuff that was in the grapevine, the predecessor to the Vortex system, are going to be molded out in a pace. We can't just dump it all out there. We get blacklisted overnight. So there's a methodical process. That being said, everybody can do their new stuff. We're totally fine with that. We just can't dump the massive database on there. We have to do it on a slow promotion. So that's going. But you guys, it's in regular rhythm. And the landing pages and the stuff we're doing, Brain Food will have its own Vortex isolation. I call it a sandbox that'll be just for Brain Food, because Brain Food's not going to get any of our other promotions. It's just for the education program. Just you know, there will be a separation of those. But you know, once we put them into one, they can see everything else that we have to offer. We can highlight special kiosk things, and we can have a lot of fun. And I get to take care of that for everybody. I'm doing tests. You guys just feed it and follow the program that we have, follow the system and the processes. All right, Jackie.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Monique. We love having you always. And guys, we'll be here next week.